Hello peeps and hello peppers and happy Easter. I decided to do this painting bunny for the Sunday thoughts that looks like a really chubby Easter egg in himself. Because I think you know that on Sundays I'm always sort of rambling about something that comes to my mind or something that I read on the internet. And today I found this posting on Facebook that kind of made me very sad because that was a little bit too close to home. There is a parent asking, am I the asshole because I told my daughter who has cerebral palsy that she will never participate in the normal Olympics or something of the type. I don't know the people who wrote this, but let's say my heart goes out to this family because, yes, I have cerebral palsy, in case you shouldn't know that. I also have autism, but that was actually not known or diagnosed until I was an adult. So that is less relevant to what I want to say. Now, I used to walk without any type of cane or rollator or the like when I was the age that this kid in the story probably is. I understood something like between 10 and 14 years old. I don't remember it that exactly, but the point is that obviously the child or teenager said, I don't want to compete in the Paralympics because they are not as prestigious or something. That broke my heart. That is the first point, because in case you didn't know, I live in a house where there is a pool that you can basically use both for teaching people in every shape and size how to swim, but also where Paralympics swimmers have trained before. So I have known for just about 22 years that Paralympics are really hard work, and Paralympics actually also get more media coverage now than they did before. And yeah, so child, whatever your name is, whatever your other interests are, if you really plan for the Paralympics, you might as well put really a lot of work in it. But this girl wanted to compete in mainstream Olympics and therefore get rid of whatever walking aid she used. And okay, now, however flat the pancake is, it always has two sides, or I would even say more, because, okay, my experience with cerebral palsy is there is a degree of neuroplasticity. Like in the beginning, nobody thought I could walk. So people actually carried me around or put me into a children's carriage, even when I was technically too big for that. And trust me, I was always a little bit stocky and heavy. But because I was always so close to the movement of the other people, and because I was done really extreme physiotherapy, even as a small child, I learned to somewhat walk. And nowadays, I'm kind of changing between two canes, a rollator, also called transfer chair, because I can technically sit on it, and regular mechanical wheelchair. and that really depends on circumstances what is feasible. I always wanted to be like when I was, when I was 4 years old, I said I wanted to make cartoon films. Of course, an adult had put that flea to my ear, but actually, this is the flea that has come back for 40 years and that I still have to kind of fight for. So I will definitely not enter any Olympics, but if I manage the Reykjavik International Film Festival one fine day, I will be the proudest and happiest person in the world. And if you want to reach for the stars, you have to shoot for the moon. So I might as well try, even with simple, humble things. When I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, I wanted to do like show jumping with horses. Again, because an adult had put that flea to my ear, with the argument that this is the horse's legs and not your legs, but meep, spoiler, I am getting cramps as soon as the horse even starts trotting. So let's not think about what happens if the horse tries to jump over a fence with me. I kind of romanticize that. Also, I read a lot of like really funny horse books, and also about riding techniques and so on. But actually, there was no facility that would have me that had also like reasons of insurance. Like I was basically a liability. So okay, I never learned horseback riding for real. I understood the basics, but I couldn't, and so I never did show jumping. And yeah, but yeah, said child still. Let's don't lose that thread. Wanted to be in the mainstream Olympics for basketball. Yeah, basketball was also something that I was interested in. But here is the deal. There is no physical way that I can hop. So how would I even reach the basket? And of course, talking about the show jumping, before I lose that thread, as a preteen, I always said that I want a horse. And like, of course, most normal parents in a city would say no, and also did say no. But what I sort of missed in this discourse, and what I probably would want to tell my children if I had any, is okay, let's try what is possible. If you really want to take care of a horse, we'll just find you a foster horse for the beginning. And then you see if you can actually clean the stables alone and groom the horse and somewhat exercise the horse. There are so many other possibilities besides riding. Like, I still very fondly remember an article about something called pleasure driving, where someone retrained a riding horse to pull like a really simple handmade chariot, and like where you normally propel the horse with pushing it with like pressing your legs against it. You would kind of use a small whip to just give like really mild signals to tell the horse what to do from the behind. I don't know anyone who actively does that, but let's say it was in a magazine for gentle horsemanship. And yes, I would wish for these parents somewhere out on the internet to just, let's say, take the conversation with the daughter. What is doable? And I mean, like when I first learned about the Paralympics, a quarter of a century ago. Actually, there stood in a book that some people who start out with Paralympics start competing in mainstream Olympics when they have more practice. I don't know how accurate this is. When I'm watching Paralympics on TV, for instance, I can notice that some people have to be like lowered down into the water by someone else. Jesus Christ, this is hard to talk about it. Like, let's say now that I'm in my mid 40s, I also have to like learn more to, let's say, let other people do things for me. Even if that means like grabbing my legs or my arms or something. But I am a little bit sad when people tell me from the beginning, you can't do blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to the painting Easter Bunny. It was like the most saddening moment ever was the always repeating moment when people told me you can't study art because that's something you can't live on. I still never got a proper job because that is just more complex. So, I mean, it would have been smart to, I find it would have been smart to try to study art while I was still very young, and then see where that led. And like some 5 minutes ago, I also saw something on Instagram that like high school students in Germany tried to protest the idea of the military coming to the school to advertise jobs. And these protests were blocked. I understand that the world politics situation has changed and we need like another sense of safety, but of course that's also easy to say because I would definitely not be the demographic to be recruited. But 30 years ago, I would so have loved to protest at school for, let's say, an education that I actually understand with my changed brain structure. And I would so have loved for people to actually grab my talent and do something with it. And I mean, that is part of the reason why I loved reading horse magazines so much, because the horse usually can't speak. So the people do something with it and assess it and say this horse has a talent for blah, blah, blah. So we have to train it. And I really, really, I so would have loved to be trained in art. And I will lean my head so far out of the window now to say if that had happened, I wouldn't have been so chronically tired and frustrated in today's time. So please, child out there on the internet, you wanna catch the stars, shoot for the moon. Try it out with your friends and family, what you can do towards your dream, and then maybe the dream will also take a different shape because things develop and every small decision can change a process. And I wish especially you a good night and a happy Easter now. Bye bye.